Yo, what's up everybody? Scotty GLL coming at you with another video. The topic that needs to be discussed is an epidemic, there's a lot of content out there swirling around, more than ever before. You can get caught up in a rut very easily nowadays. It's not like when I was coming up, there was minimal content for guys who are looking to improve with dating or pickup, etc. So now you're faced with the issue of like where to turn, and obviously some of these bigger platforms are going to get a lot of the favorable algorithm, exposure, etc. Back in the early 2000s, blogging was very popular, and you were faced with the decision to either find a mentor, get coaching, get one-on-one coaching. Boot camps were pretty popular back then, so odds are that you were either just going to suck with women for the majority of guys, because it's difficult to just find a natural, or have someone like your father teach you pick up and how to interact, socialize, etc. And in a way it was kind of good, the lack of content, because it was like not a lot of decisions to make, not a lot of mental masturbation, not a lot of voices coming from all sorts of different angles, who's right, who's not right. I mean, I would probably be lost if I was turning for some sort of help, because there's a new guru that pops up every single day, you know what I mean? So most likely you're going to come across one of these bigger platforms, and F&F, for example, has a call-in show, and they had a caller call in pretty frustrated, and he was doing everything that they really prescribed, like primarily focusing on get the bag, build up your status, girls come as a byproduct. And he was just frustrated that they weren't coming. I've been telling you that all along. They're really not. It's almost like two different lanes altogether. If you want to get good with women, that should be your primary focus, like to put yourself in those warm spaces and get as much exposure to them as possible, basically like study how they move, and throw yourself in the fire. They didn't mention any of that. They were just concerned about this guy's pictures. What, you could do that all day, like I keep saying. If you don't have the fundamentals down pat, like you can truly change inwardly with confidence, etc. And you're gonna have to be able to retain a girl and hold a conversation. You can't just assume that, because that is the root of the issue. You know what I mean? And we literally don't have enough time during the day. It's either you're gonna get really good really fast, because if you dedicate a majority of your time towards this, you're just naturally gonna get really good. When you're chasing that bag, more is required of you in terms of time, and you're gonna fall off quite a bit. So they actually could be counterproductive. So here's the thing, man. I was fortunate enough to actually seek out a mentor, work with guys one-on-one, shadow somebody who had a hell of a lot more experience than I did. And that's really the only way you can really go about this and get success in this department. If not, you're just gonna flounder around, see minimal results. Yes, you can work on your appearance all you want, get better photos, but ultimately you need to get to the root of the issue, get experience, put yourself in warm spaces with lots and lots of women, know how to handle yourself in all sorts of different scenarios and interactions. That's how you build a solid frame and foundation. No matter what way you're sourcing women, that's the root of all the problems, you know what I mean? So not one mention of that. So if you're a consumer of this type of content, and you are watching your guru in those types of interactions, man to woman, and seeing them just interview them and trigger these girls, you're gonna be like, is that applicable in terms of like picking up chicks? And it's really not. It's there solely for entertainment, but sadly a lot of guys can't see beyond that. They won't be able to read that because they have no experience to grant them immunity from that. Like, if you do have experience, you could see it for what it is. You could see right through that. You could see it for solely, I guess, entertainment purposes, but it does get very, very repetitive. So you have to start looking in other directions, and you have to also ask yourself, how serious do you want to change? That's what it comes down to. The pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, because they're both uncomfortable. Obviously, we have to push beyond our comfort zone to get the results we desire, and trust the process of being with a guy who's levels above you and has the experience. You know what I mean? And that could be work in itself, but you don't want to just stay in a rut and keep consuming this type of content where you just want to be able to see somebody who's getting good results with women. And if you're tuning into that stuff, you're not seeing it there. You're not getting it there. And that's been a big complaint. I've worked with clients who say the same stuff. They consume that stuff, and ironically, they're not getting laid. They're not getting any results. They're not getting better with women because, as a student, the best way to learn is really by being around somebody who's got experience and soaking that knowledge in, absorbing them like a sponge, and in no pickup scenario that is that valuable, to interview girls and get these, just keep it on 100% logical basis. It's unnecessary. If you notice my infields, you don't see any of that stuff taking place. It's just we just want to get results if you're serious about this, and you don't need to continue to dig and dig and dig, and get their opinions on all these different matters and see how complicated this stuff is. That's counterproductive to actually seducing a woman. So you just got to be mindful, man. There's a lot of pitfalls and obstacles that you have to overcome, especially in today's landscape, which there's tons and tons of content out there. And unfortunately, the pickup world is kind of morphed into this sort of entertainment, and you need to know the nature of women and through a series of questions and interviews and things like that. But the question is, are you bagging girls like that? No, you are not. You know what I mean? In real life, a girl would just laugh in your face, wouldn't give you the time of day. To their own admission, they're like, oh, if we were on the street, we would never be talking like this or getting girls' opinions, etc. So anyway, folks, you got to be mindful. Keep your head up. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching or a phone consult or something, hit me up, and I'll be there for you, y'all. Peace.